You've counted every calorie, tried every diet, spent hours in the gym, and still something's missing. You want more than just weight loss. You want your energy back. You want your confidence restored. You want a way of living that doesn't feel like punishment. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fads, and give you a real plan to become the healthiest, strongest version of you. Hosted by our team of expert coaches with proven strategies, science-based tips, and real-life encouragement, not just to help you lose fat, but actually create that lifestyle that you love. You've tried everything. Now, let's try what actually works. This is your turning point. Let's go. Hello, welcome, everybody. We are here with not just the Masters Fitness Coaching team, but we have the pleasure of having one of our long-term clients, Drew, here with us. And he is going to share his amazing journey and so many just inspirational moments, times, and tips for everybody that is getting started or thinking about getting started. We really just wanted to share a little bit about his experience and how that can impact some others. So welcome, Drew. Welcome.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I gotta say, I was super pumped for this one today because I remember when Drew first reached out to us way back. Now you'll kind of explain, we've been through some ups and downs since then, but man, when he came on that first consult, I'm like, he's got something magical in him. That guy's different. He's just made different, and I knew he would get there. I knew he was going to get there, and he is going to get there. But I'll tell you, man, for people to lose, like, say, 100 pounds, that's impressive, right? And any standard is impressive. But people that have never done that don't understand that it's not just about weight loss. There's a lot of other things that come with that. There's self-sabotage. There's all kinds of things that come with it that when people have to lose 20, 30 pounds, they don't experience that. So to lose 100 is one thing, but then to lose 200 pounds, my gosh, and still going is just, that's a whole different level, So it's truly an honor to have you on. I got to say that, Drew, and it's truly an honor to be a part of it and to see it from the beginning. And thank goodness we have Amanda.
Yes.
She was the link that we needed.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, she's the best person I could have ever imagined to be right there by your side in this path, because I know she's going to make sure you get it done.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's
sir.
Power Team.
The truth.
So,
yes.
The truth.
The truth.
All right. So Drew, I want you to start off talking to everybody about like the beginning. So the first time you reached out, what was going on? What has put you to a place that you wanted to reach out to us and make a change? Just start from the very, very beginning.
Start from you said the beginning. My dad had passed away, and he was and still is the hero. Someone I think about every second of the day. And with that passing became anger and resentment. Still gets me. But, he told me probably a week or two before he passed away, June 28th, 2017, I had to basically, perform CPR on my dad on the way to get fitted for tuxedos. But on June 5th is my birthday, and he told me I was the strongest person he had ever met, and I just never would give up. I didn't see any of that. I was huge. I was 500 some pounds, and he promised me to never give up, to keep fighting, to make sure that I get to a place where I'm happy. He was always smiling. Me and his relationship was absolutely amazing. At that time when I was growing up, it was a little rocky, but when you come a grown man and you start to see what another grown man put forth in his daily process, his daily grind, you find out he did so much for you and my success. I look like him, I laugh like him, I talk like him. My dad put that instillment into me to never give up. So I saw what you guys have been doing for other people. And I was like, nah, there's no way that they're going to be able to help me lose this much weight. I mean, I was so large at that time before I reached out that I sprained my knee just bending down. I couldn't make it to the bathroom sometimes, which I would presume anybody that was at 500 some pounds, had to experience that, those things. I had depression like it was nobody's business. So not only with the anger, the depression was there and I felt defeated. So one day I was just like, you know what? My daughter does not deserve this. She would try to help me work out, and I'd have to slide down a wall just to be able to walk down the stairs or get onto the floor. And I was just like, how could I ever, keep up with her, do certain things that she wants to do? Am I a disgrace to her? Am I an embarrassment to her that she sees this guy this big, a 68 waist size and just massive? And my belt at that time was still cutting into my stomach. So I reached out because I wanted to live. And I wanted to live for not just, well, at that time it was just her because it wasn't me because I didn't care about Drew, Andrew, Joseph, Thomas, whatever people wanted to call me. More or less, they would just call me an angry person. I was very angry, very spiteful, and disgusted at what I looked like and who I was. So I always had my dad in the back of my voice being like, you can, in the back of my head saying, you can do this. You've got this. So I reached out. And when I reached out, like, thank God, it was a blessing. And right off the bat, you guys would see like what I was doing to work out. I was killing myself when I was working out. I was not eating because I thought to starve myself was the way that you got the weight off of your body. And then I would be wearing 3 or 4 sauna suits with a sauna suit over top of that and sitting in my car with the windows rolled up and doing cardio, cutting 50 acres of land if I could. As working out on top of that, um, probably eating 13 to 1200 calories, which actually is less than that because all the working out I was doing. The reason why I reached out is because I was dying on the inside and on the outside, and I could see it, and I could see it coming for me. And I was just like, if I don't do something, and I loved you, I loved the energy I was feeling, the energy I heard, the energy I saw, and then the credibility that was there. And then when I met you guys, it was icing on the cake. So I was just like, okay, like let's take this journey. Honestly, I didn't believe in it. I believed in you guys, but I didn't believe that in me that I would actually finish it and get to where I am today. For love of God, no way I didn't. So that's really why I started two things. My dad always speaking, and then the back of my mind, you know, do I make sure that Tiana has a father here to keep pushing her, hopefully in the right direction that she needs to be.
Yeah, there's so much to this story, and that was summed up beautifully, But there's so much, and when you explain like what you were wearing in these workouts and what you were doing, I don't think people have really understand what you were really doing at that time. We had never heard anything like that. We've been doing this for a decade, and the amount of exercising you were doing in a day, I was blown away, just blown away. And it was 10x, it was the workouts in the morning, the hit right out of bed, and then the going out right after the work to the gym, and then going into the sauna after, doing knee ups in the sauna, then going
Right.
home.
I
And
forgot
when he
about
mentioned
this.
cutting grass, just so you guys understand what he was saying, he would go and cut his neighbor's lawns just to
Acres.
do it. And because he was burning calories, he was the best neighbor in the world. They wanted you to hold on to that weight. They're like, man, we got it made. Drew's in town. And so, but man, he just doing all that and just going and going and going. And then we threw him a curveball. We said, Drew, they said, we have to change this, and his face just, that look, I remember that look on your face when we said, you're doing too much. You got to pull back, and it was, I know when you get that motivation, you got that drive going and somebody tells you got to pull it back, that is not really what you want to hear. But I remember we did a week. We started with the week, and that was tough to get you to commit to that, of just pulling back. And I asked you, I'm like, over the course of the last 2 months, what's the most you dropped, in a week, or over the period of time, just that period of time, are you still dropping? I think you said it was only like a pound or 2 pounds, like your weight was stuck. I said, okay. I said, just give us 1 week, and just try this 1 week. And I remember that 1 week, I think we dropped like 3 or 4 pounds. And what it was is we just pulled back some of the training and focused a little bit more on rest, and the weight started coming off at this time. So that was a pivotal moment, for this. But I know the head games that put in your brain, and I know it, and I know it, and I know that was a constant battle in the beginning, which is finding that belief, that there's a different way to do it because of where you were at that time,
Absolutely.
So
I think that, I got to see Drew from the beginning and we've developed quite the relationship now. Our calls are very much almost feels like I'm talking to a friend, honestly. Like we've been through a lot of the same things, having both been very large and lost a lot of weight, coming into a new realm with a new body that can do new things and people see you differently. But one of the things that Drew and I spent a lot of time on in the beginning was, as far as mindset is related, it wasn't just that he wanted to over exercise. The over exercising was coming from a place of fear. It was coming from a place of resentment, and it was coming from a place of hatred for his former self. So we did some therapeutic work, actually quite a bit of therapeutic work, in the process of saying goodbye to who Drew used to be. And the over exercising wasn't necessarily coming from a place where he was like, this is how I'm going to keep weight off. It was coming from a place of fear that if I don't do this, I'm going to wind back where I was. But it was also coming from a self hatred, self loathing place, which is built up over years and years of being overweight and having to live overweight and experiencing what the world gives you as an overweight person. And it really made Drew put up a wall, a really thick, strong wall. And we spent months, this is something we touch on constantly because I'm familiar with it too. It was something that I struggled with in my process. So having Drew as a client, the thing that makes him unique and the thing that made him so successful was I have asked this man to do so many things that he did not want to do. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about because I will say things and he will make this face and I can't do it properly. That face. Um, and that's how I know I hit a nerve. That's how I know we're talking about what we're supposed to be talking about. And in the last, I'll give Drew a chance from Brooke to like guide him through the rest of his story. But where he is now, recently, what we've been focusing on is that wall has really come down. And behind it is this like happy, jovial dude who wants to help people figure out how to live a better life. But that was behind so many layers of anger and sadness and resentment and self loathing that he didn't even have access to that in the beginning. So it's not just, especially for Drew's story, you don't just drop hundreds of pounds of weight and not have to go through a complete emotional overhaul. And that, honestly, that work, and I think Drew would probably agree with me, that work is harder than going to the gym or hitting your food goals, because you have to look at stuff that you really don't want to look at, and Drew has done that exceptionally well, and I am so proud of him for the work that he's done.
Appreciate you. I mean, you're spot on. Everything that you're saying, as well as, Calvin, you touched on self-sabotage, but I'll even go to even a word that shamed me to even doing it as a grown man is I lied. I lied. And I think a lot of people have to come to the decision of holding themselves accountable. I would lie about certain things. Because I remember when you guys found out that I was doing 3 to 4, my mission was to get to 6 hours on a Stairmaster. I cried when you guys told me I couldn't do cardio. Like, I literally cried. Like, why do I have to do weight training over the Stairmaster, which I'm dancing on and I have fun? There's no way this is going to work. And these are certain things that made me, I wouldn't say quit, but I would stop. I was like, no, I want to go back to my cardio. I want to go back to the treadmill. I want to go back to the Stairmaster. It's my fun place. How am I going to be not be able to listen to music and actually weightlift? Which, right, ironically now,
You don't.
I don't even listen to music while I work out. I take the headphones off because I want that muscle to mind connection. And it is a it is a beautiful thing to not have to lie about certain things, lie about your weight, lie about the workouts, to sneak this food, to eat that food, to not be controlled by the food. Like the other day, I had a chicken sandwich when I was at my reunion. I would have never ate that because I'm so locked in to the food that's in my actual macros, and I want it to. I mean, I don't even want one ounce or 1 gram over. but I'm okay with it now because I know that when I stepped on that scale or I feel my body now, the scale didn't go up. It actually went down. Or
Down.
sleeping. Like you couldn't tell me I could take a day off.
The
Like to
rest
take
days.
a rest day? Like why are we
We would
resting?
fight,
This
you and me.
I don't want that. But rest days are beautiful. You lose so much dang weight and the strength comes and it's just but also to know that the not just the program, the people, you guys, God bless you, the food and the training and the rest makes you go into the gym and you got people, I'm 40 some years old, you got people sitting there like, man, you're my goal. I'm like, really? How old are you? I'm 22. You're 22? Like, come on, guys. Like, it's a life-changing experience once you have, first of all, failure is part of the actual, is at part of the actual program, part of the actual journey. And I failed so many times. And I'll give a story that I think only Manda knows right now, but I'll tell you, Calvin and Brooke right now. The last, I don't know, maybe she's told you guys, the last time I fell off about a year and a half, 2 years ago before I started this program again, both of you were at I believe one of your shows. And it took me like maybe 2 weeks to be able to reach back out. And I was like, I'm not going to reach back out. No, because I made a fool of myself not talking to them. And basically I felt like I had just let you guys down as well as myself down. So you guys were at a show, and I reached out, I think, to Calvin first, and I was like, "Oh, and Facebook. You showed that you were doing the poses and everything. Like he's busy, so he's not gonna be able to respond back to me." So I reached out. He still responded back, and I was like, "I'm not reaching out to Brooke because she's gonna be right on it, right?" So then I said, "I'm gonna give them 5 days, 5 days, and I don't know why I made this number up because I mean this is something that me and Amanda looked into it. I was attached to these numbers at 5 days. If they don't respond to me in 5 days, I'm giving up. I mean, I'm giving up. I don't even want to live anymore because I gained all my weight back and I could not take it. Within like an hour and a half of me messaging Brooke, she was like, okay, welcome back. Send me this information. Da, 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 da. I was like, no way. It took me about a day to respond, but I was just like, they just saved my life again. So I just want to say, even moving forward, kudos to the both of you and kudos with you actually matching me up with Amanda because right now I gave 5 days for me to be able to sit there and live because I was going to in 5 days eat myself probably to death and drink myself to death because I could not stand it anymore because I just felt like I was not worthy enough for their journey for giving up. But now it's a different mindset. The mindset has become one of those to where it's like it's not just pleasing people or showing others that you know what you can do this. It's actually being a servant as you guys are to show me the journey, to show me the other side of the coin, to show me that the food is actually fueling my body, to show me I can say no to this and I can show no to this and I can have the boundaries that have boundaries like that's just
That's a big
something that
one.
I just keep learning. So then it was just like, okay, everything in life started, the job started doing this started doing this started doing this. And I was just like, everything's falling into place because you changed the mindset of who you are just by saying and conquering your fears and asking for help. So what I would say, anybody that's out there that is looking to sit there and start a journey. Don't be scared of it. It's going to be tough. You are going to fail, but you're going to come back even stronger if you have the right people in your place and if you have your mindset correct and you're working on it every single day. Do diligence to it and give yourself grace. So again, kudos to you guys because I was on the brink. Thank you for responding.
Gosh, I got to tell you, these are the stories that hit hard. This is why I was so excited to have you on, because there's no doubt that what you're going through right now is supporting who you are, and you're just a natural born leader. You're not doing this to be a follower and to follow a plan. You're setting yourself up to lead. You're going to end up helping a lot of people. I can already see that coming.
Can't wait.
But it is really, really important what you mentioned, with this, because I would guess that there's a lot of people that go through this same experience a lot, and they feel shameful because of this or that. We're humans, we're not meant to be perfect. We're meant to make mistakes and do these things. And there's never a straight line from, point A to point B. There just never is. But there is points where you get so deep that mentally to be able to bounce back could be one of the hardest things. And you mentioned that you gained the weight back. If I recall, that was in that time period about a 30-pound gain.
40.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
40-pound gain. Okay.
Man.
Now
I was a cat pro.
I would say that
41.3.
I feel pretty confident that anybody who's listening to that right now, probably the majority of them said I would have never bounced back off that because it
Correct.
was so freaking hard to get that 40 pounds off, then to gain it back and have to do it again. But that's the mentality. That's that mentality that your dad was talking about that you have in you. That's what separates you. And that's why you're in a leadership position. And people need to hear that because you can overcome something like that. That's not your normal story. You know, people have hardships, things come up, they have hiccups. They're like, I gained a few pounds this weekend, or I gained 5 pounds, or this or that. And they're like, I quit. There's 40 pounds, that you had to take back off. And you had to do it discouraged that you let yourself do it in the first place. But you had to get yourself mentally back into that place to say, okay, we're doing this. We made it this far. We didn't come this far just to come this far. We have to see this through. And you do. And I know where you're headed. I know where you're going to end up. And I know it's going to be friggin' epic because the amount of muscle that you have when these people see this is going to be one of probably the best transformations. And I've seen some pretty amazing transformations. But this one is just, it already blows me away. But to see the finished product, man, if we got to fly up there and kidnap you and make you finish, we're going to be doing it. You won't pay, I can tell you. But I really appreciate you being transparent and coming out with that and saying that because it's really important that people hear that.
Absolutely.
To know, and you did, and you came back and you knocked that weight out and you're on fire. You're leaving a trail of fire. And it's back in that direction, and it's going to happen.
So one of the things,
I know what man is going to say.
Because you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because one of the things about Drew that I admire the most is this did not happen once.
I knew
this
it.
happened twice. And I am
Yeah.
not calling him out to show what happened. I'm calling him out to show that he overcame it multiple times. So when Drew fell off the first time, and they both had very similar markings, both situations. So his logs stopped showing up in the tracker, and his weight stopped showing up in the tracker. And then I would reach out and I wouldn't get a response. And that was because he was feeling shameful, which is 100% a normal human response when you do something that is incongruent with what you want. And you knew that you would, if you didn't care that you had fallen off, then that would have been a different situation. But the fact that you had that shame told me how much it actually meant to him. And I think it was like a 3-week period where I reached out and I wouldn't hear, and then I'd hear back, and then maybe he'd fall off again. And then eventually he came back and he said, you know what, I want to get back on track. And I said, all right, let's go. Because at no point in this game have I ever been disappointed in Drew for falling off, but I know how it feels when you fall off. So he got back on. He lost the original weight before, then he gained it back, then he lost it again, then he gained it back again. So this is over the span of about 9 months. And this is not to indicate that he is weak and not able to complete the plan. In fact, he is probably one of my strongest clients because he was willing to come back to me and say, I know I'm not going to like doing the work to get this off, but it needs to get done. Will you help me? The strongest person in this type of game is the person who's willing to ask for help. And even though it was hard for Drew at times to ask for help, the fact that he's been able to recover multiple times with substantial weight gains just indicates just how challenging this process actually is, how there's so much more involved to it. Because each of those times, he didn't fall off because he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. He had life circumstances, some pretty heavy duty life circumstances, actually, that impacted his ability to stay in the program. But his awareness of the fact that he was both capable and needed to do this in order to be happy is what brought him back multiple times. And this is why I feel like of all of my people, I want Drew to speak up about his journey because he did the hard work over and over again until he got it right, until he figured it out. And each time lasted a little bit less than the previous time. That is all I'm looking for as a coach. And he was willing to sit there and talk about the feelings he had associated with gaining weight. And we spent a lot of time talking about social situations and having other people in our lives that make things difficult. And of all of the things we've talked about, he really has taken everything and internalized it. And I always talk to him. He always talks to me on Wednesdays. He loves my Wednesday 6:30 slot. He booked them out for the rest of the year. But he he will have great conversation, and then inevitably a couple days later I will get a message reflecting in some way on something that we talked about, and that tells me as a coach that he's thinking about it. And that's all I can ask, is that my people think about the things that we're working for, because it's hard work. So just knowing that you can fall off multiple times and come back stronger. I think if you were going to get like one thing tattooed on you, that would be the one.
Amanda,
Or I love the truth or something cool.
something like that.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's so you figure already I'd already lost a couple 100 pounds. And if you think about the times, at least a couple of the times that you gained the weight back, that was like an additional 80 pounds that you had to lose in addition to that. So it was 280 pounds, whatever, a lot. And I want to note too, because today's world's a little different, that he didn't do this with semaglutide. He didn't do this with Ozempic. He didn't do this with tirzepatide. This was grit and this was heart that went into this. He didn't try to take the easy way. He's doing this. I see it more as a spiritual journey for him, and I think that would kind of tarnish it in a way, because you made it this far, and why would you want to use that crutch, to finish the end? And would it make things easier? Probably. I'll be honest, but there's something to be said about putting that effort in and doing it. I can say that your dad would be super proud because you're doing it right and you're fulfilling what he
Appreciate it.
said about you. So I think that this is, yeah, it's just a
Finish line
phenomenal
is going to
story.
be
Yeah.
epic.
And just for the record, just so people know, what was your starting weight before you started losing weight, when you realized it is time to do it?
Anywhere between, I would say this, when I weighed myself on a regular scale, it wouldn't register. So I knew that it was over 400 pounds. So I had to go to the gym at that time, and it said I had already started working out. So it was 518 pounds. So, but I know that I was over 520 when I first started. And I even look at the app we were using before. Pictures pop up. I've sent Amanda some too. I mean, you guys have seen them, and I'm just like, is that really me? Like, I literally lost another person of me. Like, if you really think about it, I lost 245 now,
Mhm.
and I lost another person of me even more. And it's gut wrenching to see it. But as you say, like the journey, I don't care if it's for before I was like, I need the journey to be quick. Now I'm like, do you know what's going to happen when I stack for the next 2 to 3 years? And what'll be under, I mean, we cut, my Lord. And then for me personally, it is helping my body. As we already know, strength training gives you longevity of life as well too. And it just makes me mobile. I mean, I'm 40 something years old, and I am moving like most of these people wouldn't even think. Before, as you say, social skills, I didn't like to talk to people. I was angry at people. I wouldn't help people. I wouldn't adjust if I saw if they were lifting incorrectly, or if or talking about food, or I didn't jump. I would talk to nobody, keep the headphones on, and basically hide in the corner and kind of cower away. And now it's more like, even if you looked at like my social media, my Instagram, you'll see that a lot of those were in shades and it's dark for a certain part. And then now it's like it's light, like a light switch went on. That means the mind started to sit there and be more vibrant. And you're doing things on a day-to-day basis that's going to bring you vibrant. You said a spiritual journey. Started going to church more, and being able to make sure I understand that's my spiritual therapy, and investing time when I do re-encounter things or say something to Amanda, send it in an email or a voice message, it's because it just came to me at that time. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. I might be sending a message or whenever, but it's because it hit my mind in the right place to be like, well, this is real. We're gonna bump your carbs up. Why? I'm not hungry. And then I'm like, oh, hold up. do you know what I just did in the gym today? Like that little bit of carb, it just, I mean, it's just, and then the amount of sweat, you can't see it, but I'm like, I'm drenched more now than I was when I was doing cardio. So when people think that it's just one, their mind is set on one thing, I think you've got to open the door, not think, you have to open the door to something that actually not just say works, but it will save you. And that's what it's done for me. It really
Drew,
has.
Yeah.
can you talk just a little bit? Because I think people would actually really like to hear this. You and I come from a similar place where we were eating, absolute trash, no nutrition in the food, all fast food, fried food. And now, can you just tell us like where you started with your food and now how you eat and how you feel now versus then? Because I feel like that's like a really important thing.
I would say then, it was, McDonald's. It was any fast food that I could have. I was recounting. I was telling a friend one time, I would actually go to IHOPs and get pancakes early in the morning, get them to go across the street and get Dunkin' Donuts because I wouldn't have anything sweet on the way home. Eat the donut holes of 25 donut holes. Then get home, eat those, then go to First Watch and get a waffle because that was going to be my lunch. And then for dinner, still have food. But I was eating enough food for like a family size. And what really started to also make it shameful was that my kid was like, I'm not getting as much food as you. So she's trying to eat as much as a grown man and she's a teenager. So I was setting an example for her, and then she might be sitting there eating food. And as she was doing the same thing and eating food in the morning and lying that she didn't have breakfast at school, but she had breakfast here and then eating here. So I was doing the same exact thing. So it wasn't fueling my body and it wasn't giving me any kind of nutrition, no vitamins, no anything. Like all it was basically sugar. And then on top of that, I was drinking. I would drink wine like it was nobody's business. I mean, and that would open up my stomach to where that I could eat more. And I felt like I was hungry. And then I would sit on that and I would eat late all the time. So by the time I woke up in the morning, I still felt sloshy, but I still would eat. Flip the script, and now it's like, well, before that, I starved myself. So I thought intermittent fasting was like intermittent fasting. Well, I didn't intermittent fast. I just didn't eat. I might
You're
not.
fasting.
I might stop eating on a Tuesday and I'd eat again till Sunday. And I still would be doing the stairmaster. I still would be working out. And I was like, oh, this. And then my stomach started to hurt and started to really feel bad instead of actually feeling good. And then I would cleanse on top of that, thinking that the cleansing was good too to help, and that was a substance. And then I wasn't drinking enough water, I wasn't hydrating myself. So then you would find I would go for 3 months and my body would shut down. And then for like a month and a half, I just couldn't get back. And then I would gain weight. Then I would try to do that whole cycle over again. And then now you're talking about, I came on, I think I was what, 13, 1400 calories. And I think I started at 1900 something and some change. We kept going up, we kept going on. I was like, I'm actually hungry eating all this food. And at first I was like, this is a ton of food. There's no way I'm going to be able to eat it. But when you break it down into portions, or in the mornings now I eat, 2 eggs and egg whites, like that to me would be so disgusting. Now it's just like it's amazing. But I split that meal up, and I have some grapefruit. I have my greens, and everything is calculated. I have a food scale, and I'm weighing my food. And for me personally, it is something that is not just an achievement, but it's a part of my journey and my lifestyle. But now my body's fueled. And then I make sure my proteins are there, because if I make sure my protein is there in my chicken breast with my jacarta and everything, the
I got
next
one.
day, you got one? The next day in the gym, I know what I'm going to do. I know what the expectation is. I know what I'm going to be able to lift. It's not like, oh, am I going to be able to lift this? I'm going to be able to destroy it. And it's like my purpose now. So now it's my body is fueled. I think we're at what, almost 3,100 calories or something like that.
Yeah, I just pulled up your sheet. You started with me at 1920 calories. You are currently at 3100 calories and climbing.
I'm still
And
hungry.
he's lost 50 pounds from that time.
Let's go. And for me personally, I was just working another job in September, and this shirt that's right here, I bought this shirt and couldn't fit it. And like now it's just like swimming on me. So it's just, for me, it's a testament. I don't even unbutton, I just slip it over. I might put the top button on. But it's the nutrition where I thought that I had to starve myself and not eat right. I didn't lose the weight. But then when I started feeding myself, my face, there's no wrinkle, my head is shining, my face is, it's just, it did everything. My hair grows faster, my fingernails grow fast. It's all down to everything. And I just, wanted to say, hey, and accept that actual challenge of, being able to sit there and eat the correct way. So the nutrition is absolutely, and I say it almost every time, the nutritional intake, it is absolutely everything. And rest. I can't believe I'm saying those two things, but yeah, nutrition and rest.
Yeah. So where is your weight currently right now?
And dropping. Now it went up because did we bump the carbs up or what was I doing? Oh, I wasn't including the oil that I like,
Yeah,
so
we had to
cooking
talk
oil.
about oil.
I wasn't including cooking oil. So I was like, why is this happening? You've got to put everything in, like, go ahead and take
Yeah.
a screenshot. And I was like, and then the next day it like dropped, and then you sleep, it goes down 2 pounds. You do the, it's magical, but it's not magic if you just do it right. And then the journey
Yeah.
is just now, it's beautiful.
So down from 518 to 246, and that's even after the bump in weight. So
Twice.
that's
Twice.
and you're 5'10", is that right?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So
And
and
I lost height from losing weight.
Can we also
well,
talk
that
So did
might be
I. I
just
used to
because you're
be
getting
like
old.
5'10", and now I'm 5 foot. I don't know what happened.
about the fact that this man is like a tank? He's literally leg pressing like a
That's
bus. Like
Bus.
the strength is unreal, so we keep feeding him. That's what's going on.
yeah. We got to hear some numbers.
But
You got to hear some numbers
that's another.
because I would tell you, I keep trying to guess your lean body mass. Like I don't want to do an in body with you because I just want to guess. I want to see if I can nail what that lean body mass is because I know we're going to hit it. But I would say based on your strength and your height, you gotta be somewhere around 200 pounds of just muscle.
Muscle.
And so we are not far from like getting you super
Can't wait.
lean right now.
And that's the
You know,
thing, the thing with weights and how you were describing in the beginning, the difference between cardio and weights, it's not just like fat loss, right? That's one thing of it. But I find that the thing in the gym, and you keep mentioning it, of powerful, and you go in there and you feel strong because life throws things at you and they will knock you down. So I find that the gym and training with weights gives you that mindset that when everything else is heavy, it's okay because I'm strong and I've have evidence, as Amanda says, of how strong I am because your leg press, what was your last leg press? I mean, like
Thousand what?
1,000.
Thousand, like 1,300 or 1,280 something.
Okay,
I
so
would have to say.
1,200 pounds. Isn't that what like a little car weighs? Like, I'm pretty sure you could leg press a
I
car.
pretty much maxed out the
So,
blades on it.
just to show that when he is feeling those moments, it's that place that you can go to and feel that's okay. I'm strong, and here's where I'm going to prove it. That's where I can show myself that I'm strong enough with whatever comes my way. And I wanted to bring up one more point because, along with the other challenges in your own mind, that people around you, because this is something else that a lot of people face of when they are trying to do something for themselves, the people around you that know you how you were will try to kind of put a stop and come on, why can't you just do this? And that takes strength. That takes, I mean, I'm years into this and I can get to a point like, listen, girl, like you can say what you want to say, but this is what I choose to do. You can like it or not, but you're not the one that's, having to put my pants on. Like, this is my thing. So what is it for you? Do you find that you face those challenges with people and what do you do to be able to navigate through things like this?
Well, that's where I spoke about, and that's something that was really hard for me. That me and Amanda definitely went into really hard because I didn't set boundaries. I let those things, whether it was negative or positive, I thought it was positive, where people were like, oh, let's go out or let's do this or let's do that, or what, you working out at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning is extreme and that's insane. And you go and you work out and you lift this much weight, or I'm not going to do that. Let's do this actual workout. And why don't you do? I mean, it was trying to be taken this way, this way, this way, and this way. So what I had to get to the mindset is, first of all, to be okay with the people that are bringing me positivity, because I would actually deflect the people that were bringing me positivity and would say hi. I mean, I didn't care if they were 95 years old, and that's a true story, of turning my back on someone and be like, I don't want to talk to you. To where I was receiving the people that would say, hey, let's go get some wine tonight, or let's go to the bar, or let's go do this. And I was just like, hold on. Then I feel like trash the next morning. I can't wake up. And they're asleep just like I'm asleep, and I'm missing my gym sessions. And those are things that made me not be able to sit there and work out. And that one day turns into a week, that week turns into 3 weeks, those 3 weeks turns into 3 months, and then you got all that weight back on you. Like, how did that happen? Well, I know it happened because I didn't have boundaries. So when I set those boundaries and said, I'm just not going to do that anymore, because just like you said, Brooke, they don't put my pants on. And when I'm saying, hey, I don't feel valued, or I don't feel that you actually want to do or work out the same way that I want to work out, it's fine that you don't want to go work out, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to be good. I want to be 70, 80 years old. Like you see some of these men and women walking around and still working out and still going to the gym. That's my happy place. If your happy place is the bar, have your happy place, but it'll probably catch up to you in a couple years. Me working out and lifting weights, and I'm doing dumbbells, 130s, 140s, yeah, with my feet up in the air and cranking out 10 to
That's a
20.
40.
Hey, and you can't lift 50s. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying that it's a process, and I set boundaries. And without those boundaries, you'll never hit the goals that you want to get. You'll never achieve that, and then you'll never be able to be a servant to anybody else, because everybody else will be looking at you. I'm taking pictures at the bar and getting drunk. They're, oh, this guy's doing typical thing everybody else is doing. I'm doing things like a man that tells me the truth. You're doing things that maybe 1 to 2% of people your age are ever doing. They don't want to do it, and they don't want to step outside their comfort zone. I stepped outside of it, and I'm okay stepping outside. I'm okay eating the same thing. Oh, you eat chicken every single day. Okay, no, I eat chicken and I eat turkey, so it's okay. And I and I eat, what do they call? They say I eat like a mouse or something when I'm eating spinach all the time. Well, these things to me now, oh, you don't put anything on the spinach. No, I wash it off and I eat it. But these things right here is just boundaries. If I didn't set these boundaries, I never be able to achieve it. To be honest with you, if I didn't set boundaries and I wasn't in the mindset I would never been on this call. Something would have told me to be like, you can't share this. You're not strong enough. People are not going to look at you to be able to achieve what they want to achieve. But now I'm here because I feel that I need to share a story. I need to make sure you guys showed up for me. How can I not show up for other people and show up for myself? It gives my self confidence. Again, positive boundaries. It's my purpose. It's not my grind. It's my purpose.
Love
Awesome.
it.
Well said.
Just need to say that, like, forget about the weight he's lost, forget about how much weight he can move. It's enormously impressive, but for me, having spent once a week for the last 2 years talking to this man, his inside has changed. Who he is authentic to him now. He isn't doing things for other people. He isn't dealing with the guilt and the shame. He knows what he needs to do for himself. And that's what, and the boundary, like, I'm honestly like about to cry because I'm just so proud of you listening to this, because this work is the work that people don't realize that you also have to do. Otherwise, you're going to put the weight back on. And like, you are a perfect example of, like, you really went into the stuff that made you feel uncomfortable. He, for the longest time, was telling me that, people would come up to him in the gym. Why are they talking to me? Why are they Well, Drew, did you ever think that maybe they're inspired by you? No, that's not it. Yeah, it is. But like, that's part of the process too. So like, hearing this part, honestly, like, the weight is its own thing, but like, this is like, you've become a better, happier version of yourself, and that makes me so happy.
I
Yeah.
would have to I would have to 100% agree. I and this is one thing I'll say, won't be long-winded. I hung out with a couple friends this past weekend, and the trigger of anger that used to happen, they were all looking at me waiting for me to react. And it was a level of calmness, and I was just like you guys said, they don't know the new me. They know the old me. And the old me would have probably opened a door, jumped down, and somebody would have caught something. And I was just like, hey guys, hey, it is what it is. They're like, you're not mad? No, man, just keep driving. Let's go. We got things to do. So it is it is a profound happiness that I have and an energy that I have that it's life. It really is. And to just tweak some things in your life makes things so much better.
I have to step in on the bodybuilder side here and just say it's a testament of that you were doing things right, that you have that kind of strength in the gym like that, because that's part of it. When people kind of crash diet and they go about it, or they use a drug to do that, to lose that weight, they lose that muscle, in the process, and they lose their strength, as well. But that's such a huge component of the longevity of the weight loss, is to keep that muscle. And that's one of the reasons why something like a peptide is something that you only use, in my opinion, is something that you only use when you have no other choice but to do it, because if you do it the right way, you're more likely to keep that weight off forever, because you want that muscle to build, and you coming up and losing that weight and still pushing that kind of weight. I know when I'm prepping somebody, I'm always asking about their strength. Are you keeping your strength? Are you keeping your strength? Because I know if they're starting to lose their strength, that they're pushing too hard. One of my goals in a prep is to try to get them to keep their strength all the way through, even when the calories come down. So, because we want to keep that metabolism burning, that muscle. So the fact that you kept that muscle and it's growing now because you're reversing up and actually increasing that is that shows you did things the right way. And when you get to the ultimate goal, I don't know if we ever confirmed what that ultimate goal is, but it's the package is just going to be phenomenal. And if I have it my way, I'm going to have you on stage.
I
That's
knew
where
he
it's
was
at.
going to say it.
Because
I
That's
knew
the
he
Yeah.
was
goal.
going to say
That's the
be
goal.
like, Amanda,
That's the
pass me the
goal.
torch. We're bringing this baby home. We're
Let's
landing this
go.
plane.
I
We're
Let's
going to
want
do
go.
it.
it.
Let's go. Let's
I
get it.
want it. I
That,
want it. And not
that,
only want it, I need it. I actually need it. And the form of working out is not just a strength, just like you said, it's a spiritual thing. I'm in a whole different element. I don't even know when people are around me. The gym is it's a vessel, but we're bringing something to the table that again, not a lot of people have been able to do. So let's show them. Let's the end goal is definitely stage life. Let's go.
I know people are going to be seeing a lot more of you, and I do want to make sure that we put in the notes too, if you're okay with this, put your Facebook on there and your Instagram, because I really encourage anybody that's listening to this to follow his journey, because he does post about it and he will show those workouts. And if you need inspiration, this is the man you need to
Yep,
follow right here,
for
because
sure.
he will tell you the story and he will show you those workouts and you see it in real time. But you're going to witness this tail end of this
Transformation.
transformation, and you're going to be there right there with him. And I hope that everybody that's listening that can be at that show when he goes to do it, I just hope you show up. And I'll make sure it's for everybody that's got Team Drew on it. I
Let's
will
go.
make sure it's for everybody. You have my word on that.
I
Yep.
So
appreciate you.
this is
Yeah. And it definitely is like the way you did it, how he explained that you're maintaining muscle and that's, making sure that you have sustainable fat loss. But I think it's also having that and the way that you went about doing this, the time that you've spent. It wasn't just something quick fix, you do it. It's sometimes those challenges. So the times that you fell off and came back on, the time that you fell off and came back on, those times and those moments are the things that are the reason this is going to be sustainable. It's what you have experienced and what you have overcome that that is why this is forever. That's what shifted that mindset. That's what created that change. It was the work, the time, the falling down, getting back up, learning how to get back up quicker, seeing how much of an impact you're making on people around you, seeing how the change in yourself, like all of those things really need to happen. And I think people just look at the number on the scale, but all of these other things that you're speaking about, it's like that is really what people should strive for. And like you said, you just kind of sit back and you're just like, hey, this is the journey. I'm in it. Like, I'm not worried about this. I know I'm going to get there. I'm
Yes.
just kind of going day by day. And I think it's that part that people miss because they're so focused on what's over there and where I'm going to finish that they're not paying attention and just looking at the process. So I really just appreciate how much you've shared and just all of the little nuggets that you've given us. And I'm just literally cannot wait to see. And you got a gift coming to you in the mail. It's coming.
I appreciate
So
you.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
appreciate you.
so I will absolutely share all of your information in the show notes. You guys definitely give him a follow. And
Yeah.
Drew, I'm just going to go ahead and let you wrap this up. If there's
I
anything
wouldn't.
else, oh, sorry.
I just want to ask him real quick. If you had anything to say to somebody that's maybe going through something similar, and having that time of self-sabotage or in that place, is there anything that you said to yourself personally that got you back on? Is there anything that just was those words that just got your head straight again that you could pass on to them, to give them that little push just to help them get back in the game?
Well, I would say this is that in the beginning, I always thought I wasn't strong enough. And that's mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. If you don't have the spiritual there, that's fine. But as far as the mental, the physical, and emotional, I came to a point where, some people don't talk to themselves. I talk to myself. I work from home. I told myself I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough. And that I think that's one thing that a lot of people have to be okay with, because when you look at past pictures, and I would say tell people to hold yourself accountable and look at past pictures, because I thought at 500 pounds I looked like I was here. I thought at 500 pounds I could still play basketball with the young guys. I'm like, stop playing with yourself. Is that you deserve it. You deserve to be who you want to be and need to be in life. And if that is to take the road and take the journey, like jump onto it. It may be hard, it may be tough. Again, you may fail a few times, but if you understand at the end of the day, that journey is a beautiful journey. I'm not looking at the end. I'm not looking at 2, 3 years from now. I'm actually looking at tomorrow. I'm about to prep all my food. I'm going to prep all my things that I need to have, and I'm looking at tomorrow. And then I'm going to look at Wednesday, and then I'm going to look at Thursday. Like Wednesday at 6:30 when I get to talk to the truth again. And talk. These are things I balance the Wednesday out because it gets me through mentally through the day. So give yourself little nuggets, give yourself little presents and little praises, and tell yourself that you deserve this actual journey. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much time it takes. You'll start to progressively look and see that you're actually achieving the goals and achieving your purpose, which at first it was a grind. Then it became my passion, and then it became my purpose. And once it became my purpose, I knew that I had to be a servant to not just myself, but to others. So I would say, let yourself know that you deserve it.
Oh man, you do not disappoint ever, ever.
Ever.
Say, and I'll leave to one more comment. As we kind of close this out, but you maybe already have, but you should maybe look up statistically the lifespan of somebody's 500 plus pounds. You know, and that might kind of shock you a little bit because you'll see one thing that matters more than anything else is you're still here.
That part. Absolutely.
So you got to make it count, right?
Yes. Yes. We are making it count. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know if I looked up the statistic, but my body could definitely feel it when
Mhm.
you can't breathe, you can't talk, you can't drive, you can't function. And
Yeah,
now the functioning is absolutely different. When
yeah,
you don't like certain things in the gym and now you do, you love them. Again, it's my purpose. I will say the nutrition and the rest, it is a part of the journey. So lock into it and it'll become a purpose for you as well too.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Aw-
awesome. A new lease on life.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. And the only last
man,
thing I have to say is you guys are a blessing. I appreciate you guys for saving my life. Thank you.
whew,
God,
man.
Listen,
I'm gonna cry.
She's gonna
honestly,
cry. Now you got her.
now
Now
you
you
got
got her.
everybody.
It's the
All
truth.
right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much, Drew. And thank you, Amanda and Calvin. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up in a bow. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah,
joining
thank you so
us.
much, Drew. I really appreciate you
Thank
doing
you,
this for
Drew.
us.
Thank you for
We're
having
so
me.
Yes.
proud of
I
you.
appreciate you
Yes.
guys. Thank
Until
you.
next
All right.
time. Thanks, guys.
Have a blessed one.
Thanks for tuning in to Master Your Metabolism. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit subscribe and share this episode with someone who could use a little guidance in their health journey. Ready to take the next step? Head over to www.mastersfitnesscoaching.com and you can book a free call right from the site so we can chat about your goals and how we can help support you. Don't forget to join our Facebook group where we're sharing coaching tips, support, and tricks to help keep you on track and continue making progress. You don't have to do this alone. we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay consistent, stay kind to yourself, and keep mastering your metabolism. Let's do this together.